Done a transit video in a minute, but we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do it. So Venus and Cancer have come together. I'm sure most of you have heard some rumor about it or something like that. This isn't going to hit everybody the same. If you have a day chart, this is different than if you have a night chart. If you want to know about that, just reach out to me. But we're going to do a general. Okay, a general. So we'll start with Aries. Aries, this is a square for you. This is hitting you in the ancestral roots. You are being given an opportunity to bring something up from your ancestral roots. This is your mother's trauma. This is your father's trauma. This is your great-great-grandmother's trauma. Bring it up. Heal it. Recognize it and heal it. Transmute it. Okay? This is a time where you can actually do that and the shadows aren't so scary. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, okay? It's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your subconscious. It's going to affect your philosophy on life. It's going to affect your money. Like, it's literally going to affect your self-worth. It's going to affect all of this. Let it, okay? It's about freaking time you did this, Aries. It's absolutely time. Taurus. This one's a little bit different for you. This is about your communication sector. This is about how you identify with the hobbies and the things that you do, the regular things that you do every day that bring you joy, that you find part of your method, if you will. This is also affecting the way you feel about yourself. This is Venus conjunct Jupiter. Okay, Venus rules your chart. If you're a Taurus rising, Venus rules your chart. If you're a Taurus sun, Venus is a major factor in your transits, and you should pay attention to them. It is going to affect also your fears. Okay, Jupiter rules over your 8th house, and it also rules over your 11th house. So your social endeavors and how your fears and your debts and your sharing with other people or lack thereof affects how you network and who you choose to connect with. This is gonna be something you have to sit with, okay? But it is all gonna come out through communications. It's connecting dots, if you will, okay? You are finally being able to tie this thing back to that thing, back to that thing, and then be able to leave it and be at peace with it. Gemini, this is different for you. Sorry. This one's going to affect your self-value. You may be adjusting how you actually feel about yourself and what you value in your life. You know, you may have thought, oh, I just want to have a good person beside me. I just need to have the right people, or I just need to have the right job, or I just need to have the right money, and everything will be fine. And then you get them and you're like, wait a second, this doesn't feel fine. That's what you're being asked to recognize. You're being asked to really go over that. And this is probably affecting your finances. There's probably some conversation that you're going to have where you have to say something out loud. Maybe directly to somebody you partner with, maybe like a business partner, could be a relationship partner, but it is like a one-on-one conversation, and it really does shift where your values are. And it's supposed to expand on your values. Okay, it's not supposed to wipe them out. It's supposed to expand on your values, but it is important. Okay. One of the other major factors is this is something that you like to keep hidden. This is some kind of subconscious thing that you really don't like to address that much or like bring it up to many people. You have to say it. You have to say it out loud. Okay. Another factor here, Gemini, is that this ultimately is going to be part of your legacy because Jupiter rules over Pisces and Pisces sits at the top of your chart. So this is going to be part of the overall story of your life. And it should be. It's a growth. Okay. It's a growth on your value system. Cancer. This one for you is probably the most impactful. You are integrating both your root system and your output of energy, like how you work through life, your methodology, if you will. I think because of your lunar nature and the fact that you're always adapting and changing and growing, you'll be able to personify this and envelop it in a healthy way. That being said, this is meant to really develop your magic, your internalized magic, your relationship with source. Okay, this is, for some of you, this is an initiation into your own magics, into your own craft, whatever it is, your spirituality. For others of you, this is some sort of blessing when it comes to how you partner and the way that you connect with partners and the hope that you have about relationship. But for some others, there is some sort of finalization that's coming through where it's like, okay, that those rose-colored glasses just don't fit the same way anymore. There's a different set. It's maybe like, I don't know, ultraviolet, but it's not the way it used to be anymore. And I think you're coming to terms with that, Cancer. Leo rising, this one's happening in your 12th house. So this might be happening in a place where you're not quite aware of it. It's kind of behind the scenes situation. If you work with magic, so if you are a practitioner of any sort or a reader, you will be able to tap into this a little bit easier because you are connected and open to your 12th house. But this is a bestowing blessing that it needs to happen. It's some kind of blessed closure. Okay, it's some kind of blessed closure that you're able to be like, oh, that's fine, it's finished, yay. This is affecting you're going to see it through communication. There may be some relationship with sibling that just all done, wrap it up. You know what I mean? Ultimately, this gives you a chance to move forward, especially when it comes to your relationship with children and your own creative pursuits. And you gotta let it go. You just gotta let it go. It's not. It is not one of those bittersweet endings. It's one of those thank you and next kind of thing. I will say, because your 8th house is activated in this transit, there may be some fear or final closure some fear of this final closure that's coming through with this. But again, it's ultimately about acceptance and just being grateful for the experience. Virgo, this one is happening in your 11th house, so you may see this more regards to being recognized and getting the reward for being recognized. I know some Virgo risings are stepping up to the honor roll, and my daughter included. There is, I'm sorry, I gotta shout her out. I'm so proud of her. There is some sort of like, I made it, and other people get to know I made it, and I'm gonna take this title now because I earned it. You know, it's very good quality energy here for Virgo rising. People are really seeing you for who you are. Your 7th house is activated. Your 4th house is activated. You've been doing the work, and people get to actually pat you on the back now and put your name at the top of that list. You earned so much. Where was I? Libra rising. So Libra, this one's a little different for you. People are really like talking about you. Like, you are kind of the talk of the town. You're getting illuminated a little bit. I hope you are prepped for this, because your name is on the lips of a lot of people, and a lot of what you've been through up to this point has now become part of your legacy. It's become part of your reputation, and there are things that are being added to your reputation now as these conversations happen in the circles that you appoint yourself into. I will say, for Libra rising, one of the bigger factors here is people are talking about how you communicate. They're talking about the way that you think. They're talking about the places that you've been, and like your story, your lore is really the major factor here. I do think this has to do with work too. So for some of you, this is job interview stuff, and people are checking your references kind of thing, and they're finding that, oh wow, this person's actually extremely qualified. So congratulations in advance. Scorpio, I think this one has the most magic potential for you. Out of all of us, I think you actually have the strongest ability to transmute this into money. And I'm like, good for you. Ultimately, this is happening in a part of your chart where your faith is, where your relationship to source is, where your personal philosophies are. You may find that you're traveling, or you are planning a trip, or if you're not already traveling, you may be invited on a trip. This is really good for that. Lean into it. And if that's not happening for you, which I would find interesting, but if it isn't happening for you, you may find that you're just like diving into a new level of your own personal philosophy, your own personal faith. So you could be like getting into tarot, or maybe you found a new level of magics to work with. Whatever it is an opening gateway for you that way. It's quite beautiful. And you are doing this with other people. Again, like your ruler is sitting in your 7th house right now. So there is some sort of activating person in your life that's kind of opening things up for you and making you aware of things. So yeah, alchemizing this into money and alchemizing this into faith and being able to like use it as a springboard. That's your energy in this one. Sagittarius rising, this is your 8th house. You're opening up a bag of secrets. I think you are finally standing in who the fuck you are, and you're just whatever shame you may have been carrying around with you, or like baggage that you may have been trying to hide. You're just like putting it up in front now, and it's like, well, that's who I am. If it deters people, they're not the right people. You just let them go. Which is fantastic for you. You may find that, yeah, there are going to be some sour pusses in the mix, and that's their problem, not yours. Ultimately, this affects your networks. Okay, so it is shifting who you network with and why you're networking with people and what reputation you have in networks. For the benefit, like let me just say, like, you're quite popular at this point. People want to talk about you. They want to connect with you. Another thing to think about too, Sagittarius, is that because Jupiter rules over your 4th house and your 1st house, and Jupiter is in the mix with this, tying up your 11th house and your 6th house, I think your health is, or your mental health, but it's part of the conversation. It's part of the conversation. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Capricorn rising in particular, this one transit is happening in your 7th house. You may find that it's your partner or your person, or the person you're identifying with is really giving you something of a blessing in their own way. It's expanding things. It may not feel like a blessing right away, okay? This is one of the things that I talk about, especially because Mercury is also in Cancer. There's an element here of like, what do I do with this? Thank you, but what do I do with this? You know, and having to figure that out. It is a new development. Whatever it is a new development, Capricorn rising. And what you do with it will change the course because Mercury is going to retrograde. Over all of this stuff that's happening, Mercury retrograde. So whatever you decide to do with this, there will be a revision phase that comes up in the next few weeks. Just keep that in mind, okay? But yeah, this is affecting how you who you play with, what you play with. It's also affecting it's also affecting not your projections, your objectives. Yeah, your projected objectives. There we go. So I have to speak Capricorn if I'm going to talk to a Capricorn. So it is affecting who you partner with and how you partner and where the equilibrium is for you when it comes to that. Okay. Because ultimately, one of the things that you absolutely put your hooves in is that you will be a fair person, regardless if that fairness is liked or not, right? You're all about that equality. So that being said, your legacy will stay intact in that way. It's just taking a new development upwards. All right. It's expansive. And it is about closing some doors because Jupiter does rule your 12th house, but it also rules your 3rd house. So this is like how you feel about things that you are done with, how you speak about things that you have experienced in the past that may have been endings for you. All right, Aquarius rising. Because Pluto is sitting in your sign for a long freaking time, I'm never going to not address that elephant in the room. It is a loud, intense experience that you are in for a couple of decade and a half or more, a little bit more than that. And it's been here for a minute, and you are fully embracing it now, and good for you. You are the most intense person in the room for a while. And that being said, with this transit happening and everyone else kind of being activated right now, this is happening for you in your 6th house. This is happening for you in your health house, your habits house, your enemies house, your employees house. This is happening for you in the place of work, and your how you take care of yourself, where the energy you put out doesn't come back to you. That's the 6th house. Okay. So enemies can hide in there, and with Mercury in there and Venus in there and Jupiter in there, you will, whatever you're dealing with right now, it will be revised and retracted and resorted and then repositioned and then, you know, restarted before we hit August. It is a long freaking Mercury transit, and with Venus and Jupiter doing this conjunction dance before that even starts, this is an initiation for you about that, and you got to figure out what to do with that. But just understand it's a longer story than it looks, okay, on the surface. It is integrating for you. It is integrating your sense of value. It's also affecting your root system, like how you feel about your ancestry line, how you feel about your body, your sustenance, how you sustain yourself, like that formation that you are so fixed on, like this is who I am and this is what I do and these are my methods, and this, as strange and unusual as those may be to other people, it's freaking practical to you. That is being ripped up with Mars right now. And it's being ruled over by that Venus with Jupiter. So it probably feels like there's a lot of ripping. It probably feels very unsettling at this time. Again, this dust will settle. It's just going to take a while. Another thing to consider, Aquarius rising, is that because your ninth house is Libra, which is also ruled by Venus, this is supposed to develop your relationship to your own personal philosophy. It is supposed to be a fucking monumental change. So let it. Okay? And lastly, your friends and how you network. You're shifting how you network and what that means for you going forward, and the kind of benefits that you actually are trying to receive in this life. I think you're refining that. Pisces rising. That's the last one. Hi, baby. Pisces rising. This is happening in your 5th house. So you may find that romantic stuff is really picking up. Stuff with your kids is really picking up. It is asking you to step into and identify with this transit, being that there is your ruler, Jupiter, sits in this transit. There is a longer story here for you as well, with that Mercury retrograde approaching. I do want you to put a pin in your calendar around October, because the Venus retrograde that happens in Scorpio and Libra is going to tie back to this time. Okay? So we'll get to that later. You know, I promise I'll come make more videos about that. But this is the beginning of a story that is going to kind of accumulate in the autumn after the summer. Okay? But first, the Mercury retrograde is going to mix things up a little bit. So, another thing to consider here is that this is about how you speak about yourself, how you speak about the world, how you communicate. Words or spells. Please, please remind yourself, words or spells. When it comes out of your mouth, it is literally becoming something as soon as it removes itself from your mouth. Also, your fears, your debts, and like how you hand over power. This is another thing. You're learning that there is a different kind of power in vulnerability, that if it's wielded right, if you don't just lay yourself out like a doormat, if you show up in an accountable, vulnerable way with the willingness to pull away if you're rejected before you open up, it changes the game. It changes the whole freaking landscape. Okay. Another thing to think about is this is legacy. Again, Jupiter rules over your 10th house, right? So this is legacy. You will be remembered for this. This will be something that will add on to the pillars of your personality. I think I covered it all, guys. Happy Jupiter-Venus conjunction. Be safe out there. Wrap it up.